Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Mwah.
Gentle kisses on your
Yeah.
tender lips there.
Yeah, we'll talk about the lips here because that's the video. But before I do, look at this thing I want to show you. You guys feed the birds. We love doing it. Look at this 25-pound bag. I have to get the economy mix because sometimes our birds will eat this whole bag in one day.
They will. Plenty of time.
So we have all kinds out here. We've had our most coveted species this year was the yellow-headed blackbird.
Right.
Never saw those before this year. It was incredible. But we have red-winged blackbirds that come in like by the droves, and I just saw like 50 crows, I think, fly out of our feeding
The
area.
crows are bigger than sugar babies.
Yeah, bigger than sugar. So they eat a lot. But anyway, this video is about transurfing and different realities. I was just using some of this today. Karen and I climbed up the mountain, and it was beautiful up there, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous, and we made a point to do it today. Usually we take the path, but we went straight up. And the reason being is that we've got a big snowstorm rolling in, which is super exciting, but that also makes climbing the mountain that much more difficult. So we're not sure, today may have been our last opportunity for climbing where we climbed.
Right.
Until next season.
And I'm going to post a picture up there in our community so you can see the snow. So it's man-made snow at the top. They've got cats grooming it. So there's man-made snow up at the top of the mountain. And
we have the real
stuff is coming
way.
tonight. Yes, exactly. So we were on the mountain, and I was getting ahead of Karen a little bit. She was looking for treasures on the way up. We like to walk up under the ski lifts. There's all kinds of things we find that were dropped in the winter. It's funny.
Sometimes I just pick up the garbage too that's left behind. I picked up several
Bring it down.
lift tickets, and there was a
You found a nice big wrench. We got back to the
a
the
wrench,
lifties.
and I found a pack of Tylenol. So I don't like to leave that stuff on the mountain, and I had
Right.
a couple coats on, so I had extra pocket space I didn't really find any treasures that were worth keeping, but we saw a lot of signs that there were a lot of different animals, and I was pretty excited.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we'd get to see.
Yeah, we didn't. We followed the trails. I call them deer paths. I don't know if that's what you call them, but you can see where deer and elk take the same trail every day. It's worn through the woods. You can see the paths, and their drop-ins are all along the way, so you know it's the case. But so we took some of those paths. We didn't see them today, but
We didn't.
it was a
But
gorgeous
a lot
day.
of signs that they were there recently, and that in itself is pretty cool, just to know that we are walking on the same paths as nature.
I saw a couple of signs. I thought it might have been a Yeti or something. But anyway, so I was up there. I'm looking out at this expansive view, looking down here at the valley, and the wind. The wind was kicking up when the snow comes. The weather changes, and it's just a crisp, wild mountain air, we like to call it. And I was thinking about, I had these biopsies on my lip because we had so much sun from, all the great times we've had out there in the sun. Wear your sunblock, by the way. So we're waiting for that to come back, and I was sitting up there thinking about taking a frame out of a future movie that we're in. When you look at different realities, think of it as a film strip. And there's like any film strip, you can pull it out and see a frame out there and take it and look at focus on it. But there's multiple paths, multiple film strips of our life out there in front of us.
Right.
So I was sitting there thinking about, for a second I was worried, what's going to come back. And I said, I'm not worried because I'm picking this path and I'm taking this frame that everything's going to come back and it's going to be great news.
Right. So, you should probably back up just slightly so people understand. Jeffrey had a biopsy done on his lip about a month ago, and it came back that it was melanoma. So we went to a specialist and last week, and they took 5 biopsies across the top of his lip in different locations. And we'll find out. They did put a rush on it, so we'll find out next week. But there's a lot of different scenarios that the doctor gave us, the best case, the worst case scenarios.
A lot of different paths, a lot of different films.
Exactly.
Right? It could go a lot of different ways.
Right. And so, we asked him if all 5 of these biopsies come back negative, Does that mean that he doesn't have to have surgery? And the doctor said, well, not necessarily. That means that we then resend out the initial biopsy to a pathologist, because he looked at that himself. It definitely is a melanoma, and figure out where the margins are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, that was the best scenario that he gave us. That doesn't mean that's the best scenario that's available.
Well, it's his job not to give overconfidence, and he's got to get you ready keep you ready for the worst and all that stuff. That's what doctors have to do. I get it.
Of course.
But anyway, I didn't want to go too deep into that. But my point to this was, you've got a lot of different paths out there, a lot of different film strips. Select one. Take a frame out of that film strip and focus on it. And put your energy into it.
Well, I just wanted to give that out because it's important to understand that just because somebody gives you X amount of possibilities doesn't mean that those are the only possibilities.
Oh, you're absolutely right. There's unlimited possibilities.
Unlimited possibilities.
Right.
And that's when miracles happen, or people think they're miracles because someone said it wasn't possible, but it is.
Yeah,
right?
or it's just not as bad as you thought it was. I mean, all these things are out there, and I think we have a lot more control over that stuff than than people tend to believe. So if you get all that, you need to be thinking about your life ahead and where you want to be. And a frame out of that film strip could be, it's a beach house you want to get together. It's a vacation you want to go on. It's that significant other you want to meet. It's whatever it is, but you take that frame out and you just focus on it. You can see yourself with that person. You can see yourself in that perfect life with that person.
Absolutely.
Right?
And you may already be in that relationship and things aren't going the way that you want. Well, that's the path that you've chosen, but it's not the only path as we're talking about it. So look at all of the other possibilities and take your relationship to whatever level you truly desire it to be. And again, this could be a relationship, with your kids too. I mean, I know people who don't have that relationship with their kids that they wish they had. It's possible. Everything's possible. You need to choose the paths that you want to live in this particular lifetime. They're there, and it's as Jeffrey always says, it's not like there's that one option and if someone else got it, you don't have it. It's available to everyone. Anything that you can dream, anything you can imagine is available to you.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the pie. You go take a slice of pie, doesn't mean, if there's 8 slices, you take a slice, there's 7 left. Right. With the universe, there's unlimited slices out there. So it's not like you take a piece or someone takes a piece and you can't get it. So there's plenty of opportunity, and it's all a choice. And as we always say, this is our best gift in this life was our freedom of choice.
Right.
I mean, you get to choose every split second. I get to choose right now which way I want to go. I shut this video off. I get to choose right now. I can let it run. I get to choose right now. I can pet Sugar Baby. You got a choice every second, every moment of what you're doing with your life, and you get to choose. So you have 100% control of where you're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, choose wisely, choose what you want, and if you really truly want it, and that's the big difference. Some people will say, well, of course I want that, but maybe you really don't, because if you really did, that's what you'd be seeking out. A lot of times people will say, they'll say one thing, but for example, let's just say you're in a relationship and it's toxic, but I love him or I love her. Well, the relationship is toxic, it's hurting you. Why are you choosing that relationship? You don't want to have a healthy relationship, or you wouldn't be in a toxic relationship. And then you might say, well, I love this person. If you love that person, then you are admitting that you love the toxicity that's within that relationship. So, every single thing that we choose is of our own doing and of our own choice. And it's really intense because sometimes you have to take a good look at yourself and say, you know what, maybe I really didn't want that and now I do, or maybe I really don't want it because I'm making, choices that aren't the right choices for me.
Right.
So.
And right now I'm going to choose to go out and check our chickens out there because it's almost nighttime and the birds go off to roost. I love this analogy too. I always talk about the birds are so smart. You don't see birds flying around at night. When it gets dark, they go home to roost and they take a nap, and they get up first thing in the morning. So we love waking up in the morning and hearing the birds out there. So I love to have the feeders full. So that's my choice. So
wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the nest at Copper Mountain.
see you guys. Make those right choices.
Yes. Bye.